Ďakujeme pekne, ale teraz sme určite veselí a to je preto, že ide ďalšia prezentácia zaujímavá a tá sa pozrie na to, moderná digitálna nemocnica je určite snom nielen samotného manažmentu a zamestnancov, ale nepochybne aj pacientov a k tomu musí prísť, počuli sme to tu viackrát, nielen hardwareová, softwarová výbava, ale aj množstvo ďalších zmien. No a toto je téma ďalšej prezentácie, budeme sa venovať tým ďalším zmenám, ktoré stoja za tým. Pripravený je healthcare konzultant pre strednú a východnú Európu, pre spoločnosť Atos a prichádza pán César Santaella.
It's on?
Po anglicky.
First of all, sorry, because I don't speak Slovak and I don't speak Czech. I'm working on that, or trying to do so. Yes, my name is César Santaella. I work for Atos now for 9 years, and I'm responsible for the healthcare consulting for Central Europe and Eastern Europe. I've been working also with a team in the Slovak Republic, with one of our major customers here. My background is management consulting at Atos 9 years, and prior to that, working with companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers and Siemens also in healthcare. I work in different industries. My expertise is experience, so in other industries, customer experience, but in healthcare is patient experience and employee experience. I'm working and developing also sustainability, but everything that has to do with patient journeys, employee journeys, and how to use technology to make this easier, better, and more personal. This is my expertise. In an horizontal, what I really like to do and where I really have fun is in the rollout and implementation of digital projects. And this is from the strategy, from designing, from imagining one of these projects to really working with the people so that they can adopt the new way of working and they can mature this. At the end of the day, I don't focus on technology. I don't like to speak about technology the first time I speak with you, I hope. I'm not going to speak about technology. I want to really speak about, or the question that I'm going to do to you is, when are you successful? So keep this question in mind today when I'm speaking. When are you successful? Okay? So I guess I have to press the green one. There you go. 70%. So does anyone has an idea what this could be in terms of transformation, in terms of change management, in terms of organization? That is the number, or that's the percentage of projects that will fail because a lack of transformation, a lack of change management. This means 1, 2, 3, the first 4 rows will fail. So we have the losers and you have the winners. 70%. So today I'm going to be successful if I can share with you some of the dynamics that we're seeing in hospitals in Central Europe, what is pushing the change. Then I will also share with you some of my perspective and what we're getting wrong. And the third point is I'm going to share with you some of the lessons learned. Really, for each of them, we could speak like hours, but they only gave me 20 minutes. So, and I see here 15, so I need to hurry up. So I'm going to share those points with you so that you think a little bit about how is that you're reflecting this in your organization, whether you're one of our partners or you're one of the hospitals. And if you see any grammar or failure there in writing, it's not my mother tongue. All right. So the first question, at your organization, change is something that you cannot say, let's start changing. Change is happening. So the question for you is, are you part of it, or are you just watching there or imagining something's happening in your organization? So are you the pilot taking control of this change, or are you only a passenger? So these are some of the dynamics that we see that are having an influence in the hospitals today. I'm not going to go very deep in each of them, but for example, of course, the topic of the costs. I mean, this is something that has affected the hospitals because of the COVID-19. The situation worsened, so it's really more difficult. So this will continue to be a topic. Probably when we reflect also this to data security, when we look at this one and in the two upper ones, this is about the new delivery models, the way we're delivering healthcare. So this has a lot to do with data. And this also, this dynamic is also coming from the patients, from the customers. Because what they have, the experiences that they have in other industries, they want to have this in a hospital. I always use the example of vacation. Because when you go on vacation, you go to the internet, you book a plane ticket, you go to the airport, you go to a machine, you check in, then you go through security. Probably that's the only human interaction that you have until that point. And then you go to the airplane. But if you go to a hospital, you have to call the patient portal, if they have one, is not really friendly. So it's not good there. Okay, and then you have to go to the hospital, you have to make a queue, you lose time, it's a lot of paper. So why is that we are not adopting the experiences from other industries to our industry? I mean, technology is there, and everyone would win. So the question is, well, not the question, we have not done this yet, but this is the expectation that we have now from the patient. Most of you have now a smartphone, I think. Many of you have also a smartwatch. So if you're measuring how many steps you do every day, if you're measuring your BIOS, how can we use that? So we're also seeing a shift in medicine from curative medicine to preventive medicine to well-being. What does that mean? That means that maybe if I'm a hospital, I'm not making my money in terms of how many days a patient is in my hospital. I reduce the stay, but I have new delivery models, new services before the visit to the hospital and after the visit to the hospital. So these are some of the dynamics that we are seeing in the industry. Millennials. How many millennials do we have here? 1, 2. Not really. So the thing with the millennials is if you hire a millennial, but you don't let them be millennials, don't hire them. Because for the first time in history, in 10,000 years of human history, older generations are learning from the new ones. So they have new ways of communication, more effective, so learn from them. So it was actually something nice about you guys. So where are we getting wrong? So you will see this slide in many of our presentations. We love this because it's a nice way to represent the different journeys. And actually we tried to do the metro from Munich. Looks like that. So you can see which parts of the patient journey are outside the hospital, on site, and what's happening outside. What we're getting wrong is that when you work in journeys, you start identifying use cases. For example, here you could think about a patient portal, and for example, there you could think about digital front door, onboarding. How do you receive a patient? And yes, we bring a lot of technologies, application, platforms, and we do this journey more efficient, better. But what we are forgetting here is that that implicates a change in the process, a change in the roles of the people, a change in the type of skills that you need for those people, a change in general in all your capabilities, technology, data. And this is what we're forgetting. So a lot of people think about transformation just in the moment of the implementation. But what really is important is what comes behind that. This is also something I like to ask you. If you see technology, digitalization, as an enabler or as a driver, because if you see technology as a driver, you have a problem. Because you started discussing technology, you need to discuss your business. What is what you need first? And then you discuss technology. Yes, but first is, how do I provide better clinical outcomes? How do I make my organization more efficient? How do I make my organization more sustainable in terms of environment? How do I retain and develop valuable personnel? Those are the questions that you need. And then you see which technology is the one that will help you doing so. Anyone here speaks German? I mean, I live in Germany. That's only one word. So that's the Krankenhauszukunftsgesetz. That's the German Digitalization Act. And what the Germans realize suddenly is that they're way behind in the European Union in terms of digitalization. So they say, let's put some money in there, and they put 4.3 billion euros for the German Digitalization Act. The problem that we are seeing there is that this money is being used for infrastructure. And even in the cases that they are implementing digital use cases, nobody's thinking about the transformational path, the change management. So I have not seen in 1 year a licitation, a tender, saying we need support after the implementation. How is that we're going to operate this? Or anyone, we spoke about Blueprint, anyone asking about the new capabilities that they will need. From that 4.3 billion, 15% is supposed to go in IT security. So they're not getting the dots together. And I mean, it's not that I'm happy, but I'm sure my telephone is going to be ringing in the next months because some of this will be part of the 70%. So for us, it's good for the business, but this is not good for the system. And according to that clock, I need to hurry up. So these are like the top 7 lessons learned that I want to share with you. When I started this list, I had like a top 20, but again, the time was not that long. So I just want to reflect some of this with you. The first one is like the most stupid question that you can make. Do you have a vision about your organization? Do you have a goal? And again, the question about success. When is that you are successful? I saw back there, you 3 came together, right? 1, 2, 3, yeah. So just after this chat, just make this exercise. I assume you work together. If each of you writes in a piece of paper, when is your organization successful? I bet you're going to have 3 different answers. So this is one of the key elements for change management. You need to have a clear vision where all your organization is embarked. This is also probably one of the reasons because of this 70%. Because when we speak about transformation, cultural change management, everyone is like, yes, communication, it's a good thing, we do that, team building, agile, yeah? No, get professional help. So, and use really these professional formats. There are different type of approaches, of methodologies. Use one of them. But you need to be consistent in the type of communication, in the type of approach, and the type of principles that you use. So this is extremely important. The next one has to do with the culture. So culture is everything and it's nothing. It's very difficult to define culture. I want to use some of the words, some of the components of culture. The first one is what is the type of leadership that you have within your organization? You cannot have organization, an agile organization in terms of development, in terms of implementation, if your structure is very straight, is very hierarchical. This is not going to happen. Then about communication and about trust. So communication is extremely important. Even when things are not going in a right way, you need to be able to communicate this. Because the worst thing that can happen is that the people feel that you are hiding something. And even if you're not hiding something, they're going to believe it. So you need to be reinforcing this communication. And you need to accept the fact that many people will not like you or your project. So you're going to have resistance. So you need to address this resistance from the beginning. And I mean, be cool about it. It's a percent that you have in every type of projects that it's not going to be willing to do that. But the percentage of people that is, so to say, neutral is bigger, and then you have also percentage of people that is going to be pushing with you. So you need to address the resistance, but you need to work with these people that are willing to join you in this adventure. The next one is have a plan. I heard Peter spoke a lot about the word principles. I did not understand what he said, but the important thing here is you need to have a plan. But when you have a plan, things can change. For example, many companies have plans about digitalization in the year 2005. And in the year 2006, this guy from Apple came and introduced the iPhone. So whatever the plans you had in 2005 and prior were dead. So when you have principles, like for example saying, we want to have mobility, we want to be flexible, it doesn't really matter what happens with technology, because whatever the change is, you're going to be focusing on those principles. The next one is really be cool. So you need, many authors about change management say, well, this is not like launching a product, but in a certain way it is. This needs to be something amazing for the organization. You want people to be part of it. You want people to get the ownership of this project. So you need really to be emotional. You really need to invite them to join this. As we always say in sales, or in this case in the project, because what we're doing is selling a project, is we need to focus on what are the challenges and the problems that we're going to solve. We're not coming saying we're implementing technology. We're focusing again in the success of the organization. The next one, and probably this is the queen of this top 7, is the adoption and the maturity. So this is the most important thing. How do we make the people really receive this work in these new processes, in this new technology, and then how do mature these processes? So at Atos, for example, in some of the EMRs that we have, we can guarantee up to 95% of adoption rates, specific for EMR for Epic. But this is also something that you need to realize. How do you make people adopt new ways of working, and how do you give them the ownership? At the end, you need to be innovating. And the next one is measure, measure, measure. So this is like making a diet. If you're not measuring, you don't know where you're going, right? So you need to be measuring the success. You need to be measuring the quality of the implementation as a process, then the efficiency and the effectiveness on how your employees use the new technology, or how do they apply new security rules and policies. And you also need to be watching what is the experience of your employees in terms of your process, in terms of your project, or in terms of data security. Especially in the case of data security, the experience is something very important. Security, it's clear we cannot move it. We need to be compliant. But when the experience is not good for the user, they might not really engage in that. So, as I was saying, I have much more to tell, to share. I would like to use the next hours, the coffee breaks tonight, to get to know you, to talk to you. I really find very, very rich if you can share with me how is that you are living this digital transformation in your organizations. I'm sure this is going to be really, really exciting. And if there are any questions, in English, please. Thank you. Okay, the first one, can someone help me? Sorry?
What does change management mean from the point of view of efforts of the hospital?
The effort. Yeah, this is a good question. So this is what I was saying, get help. First of all, when we think about the hospital today, people is exhausted, especially after COVID. They have been changing from one operating model to another. If you come now with a project, really, you're going to kill your people. So your core business is the medicine. Your core business is administrating a hospital. Your core business is dealing with cybersecurity. If you're going to have a project outside that core business, you need to bring help, because this is not an easy effort. And even if when you have help, it will require some effort. But again, you need to sell the type of benefits, the type of challenges that you're going to be solving. Next question. I don't really mean has an organizational change management. So if there is some logic of the politics, what do you mean with these questions? Well, the way I understand this question is. Yes, of course, because sometimes politics has no logic. No, and it sounds like a joke. It sounds like a joke, but politicians have an agenda. I'm not judging if it's a good one or a bad one. Yeah, but when you look at the case of the COVID-19, the first months in many countries, I'm not saying any names, how they managed the pandemic, for some of them was more important the politics than really the results. So what you need to deal there is really with communication and having these plans. So this is the part that needs to be clear. In this case, the project management, the leadership will play a major role. Right? But yeah, it's always. Yeah. So. Well, sometimes the cycles of digital transformation in a hospital are longer than the political cycles. So when you have these long-term projects, in the middle, sometimes you have elections. If a hospital is financed by government or public money, then you might get some influences, but you need to deal with that. So this is more in a different level. Okay, if yeah, so what the way I understand it is, if we only do this for new hospitals, because so the type of approaches that we have is something that that we can operate where your hospital is a new one or you have already a hospital operating. We have tools to measure in a quick way what is your maturity. we have 51 different categories. So it really comes from the capabilities about skills, technology, implementation, communication. So we do that, we establish a radar, and then we can tell you where is that you are. As I was saying, change is happening anyway. So whether you have a new hospital or not, we can engage and we can help you. In some ways, you're going to have a long project, but sometimes baby steps make more sense. Well, this depends a lot on the type of project that you have. But the most important thing is to have here a clear methodology. In terms of change management, we use a lot the methodology named ADKAR. ADKAR is when you start with awareness and desire. So you explain what is going to be the project, then you explain also what are going to be the benefits. Then you go with the knowledge. Then, meaning training people, then you go for the availability, making it available, the new system for your personnel, and the R stands for reinforcement, meaning you need to train the people constantly, you need to create local knowledge. So, do we fear of process that is watching us? So, can someone explain me that?
Sure. The adoption of new technology sometimes comes to a resistance of the staff because, like, if you're not being watched, if you're not being measured, you have a certain kind of a freedom. And now, if there is a system that is basically watching your performance and not everything is measurable, so this is the resistance. That's why the 70% of fear.
Resistance, and this is a good one, has a lot to do with fears. What is going to happen with me? Why is that they are watching me? I'm doing here my job for the last 20 years. Now they come with new technologies. I don't have the skills. What is going to happen? So exactly that is what you need to address in the beginning. And of course, when you have an organization where you don't have this trust that we were talking about, you have this type of fears. But when you work with the employees to generate this trust, to explain why is that you are expecting or measuring what you're measuring, to make sense with them, then the story is different. Of course, if you ask for the same KPI in 3 different Excels, you have a problem. So, of course, there is going to be resistance. Some people are change resistant by nature, so it doesn't matter what you give them, it's wrong, because the system as all is wrong. But there are people that they are only afraid. So you need to work with them in this type of fear, and there are different methodologies to address that depending the case. So you need to be very specific in case by case. But yes, this is something very common. I think now it's your show. Well, thank you, and I'll be talking to you in the next hours.